Regular meeting of the Nevada City Public Arts Commission to order. Today is Wednesday, March 5th, 2025, and it's 5:30 p.m. I have a loud voice. I would like to ask, I don't think it's any different. I would like to ask Commissioner Shannon Harvey to read the land recognition.
We acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible. We understand that we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the near genocide of their people. As a resident or visitor in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people, as well as their campaign to restore federal recognition.
And I'd like to ask Commissioner Kathy Wilcox Barnes to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could stand and join in the pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have roll call at this point? Oh, you don't. Okay. So our city planner has completed the roll call. We are going to have a presentation tonight by the Nevada City Arts Council, but it will be moved to after the workshop. So the first item will be the Broad Street Y workshop. We'll also move public comment on items that are not on the agenda to after the workshop. So we're going to start now with Lisa introducing the workshop.
Hello, I'll take that. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight to give your feedback on this potential project. I'll just kind of run through the project a little bit and then give some specifics on what's kind of on the table for you to evaluate tonight. So, is there anyone here who's not familiar with the Broad Street Y improvement project as a whole? Or is everyone kind of aware? Okay, so the improvements are basically from the top of Broad Street up to where Broad Street Y's for East and West Broad. And the grade of the street will be brought up a bit and leveled. As we all know, there's these funny parking spaces that nobody wants to park in because your car wants to fall off and the door swings open super wide. So improvements are designed and going to construction for not only parking improvements, but also improvements to sidewalks, crosswalks, bulb outs to make pedestrian crossings safer, and things like that. The Broad Street, at the top of the Broad Street Y is where we are contemplating a potential art project. For many reasons, and I'll just sort of explain that a little more. There's basically a crosswalk proposed from the corner where the Broad Street Inn is to this other side of where East Broad is, and I'll show the site plan here.
All we can focus on are the delicious things that Kathy does.
Right?
Tempt you into participating.
Okay, so here's kind of the overall scope of the construction project. You can see it comes down to close to City Hall here up at the Broad Street and Commercial Street intersection, and then continues up to the Y. So currently, I'm not sure exactly where there's sidewalk or crosswalks, but I don't think there's a crosswalk here or here. So the design of the project includes adding a crosswalk in this location, and then this will be an area that has sort of variation, not just straight paving, but like a hardscape material, probably some sort of granite or something. And then this little area here, it's approximately 12 feet by 20 feet wide, is where there will be a few benches placed, likely a light, and potentially a public art piece. So tonight, let's see, I'll share this other one again. Thank you for your patience.
Lisa's our city planner, for
Thank
those of you who are new here.
So I've already sort of explained this to you. This is the view of the place from yeah, I think we're all familiar with this view looking up Broad Street, and that is where the art project is contemplated. So here it just, my PowerPoint shows that we do have a lamp proposed there, a street lamp, and then an ADA accessible crosswalk to the sort of resting place. A couple of city benches could go there and the artwork. And so how we're going to run this workshop is through an interactive survey. So if everyone has a cell phone and you would be willing to provide responses, then we can kind of capture the information in real time and show everyone's responses and be able to see what other people are thinking in the room. So we'll go through the survey questions and give you some time to do that, and then we will take public comment after that. So here is the website, menti.com. And the code is here as well, the 35077937.
So if we did this earlier, you'll get a green arrow that says you're all set until Lisa advances the slide.
Yeah, and if you have taken the survey before, then you don't need to take it tonight. Your responses will already come through for the group. And then also, if you've taken it before, you might not be allowed to do it again on your same device.
I guess I'll just say before we get started, no one asked me to talk, but this is really an awesome opportunity to give feedback on this project specifically, but also more broadly. It's our first time as the Nevada City Public Arts Commission that we're holding this type of like feedback workshop moment. And thank you everyone for coming and participating. It has become clear over our last just year and some change that if we're doing work that is not directly informed by our community, we're gonna run into hiccups. So it's really important that you are here and that we get to hear from you. So thank you for participating. And like Lisa said, this is more of just kind of like a static survey moment. We'll be collecting like some words and inspiration and things like that. But if you are compelled to elaborate on what you're sharing, yeah, please feel free. Obviously, it's a casual group of people, and we do really want to hear from you to help us shape our work.
Okay,
So
anybody
this is
having
all
trouble?
set waiting for presenter, is that where we're?
That's us.
Yeah. Anybody having trouble? Are we good?
I think we're working up on Get on the internet.
Okay.
That'll do it.
Well, I have 5G now, but I don't know if I can still get on there.
Where's the Wi-Fi
Yeah, use the Wi-Fi.
password up on the wall? It looks like it's the chambers, isn't it? Oh, okay.
I just don't have internet.
It'll be fixed in a jiffy.
If you want to go in your settings where I can plug in the Wi-Fi, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Can you come up and fix my computer?
For that, she'll have to get in line after me. I need somebody to
Okay.
tune mine up.
All right.
I'll keep talking then. So I think it's important, to provide some context, some also broader context in these like public workshop spaces that we don't do at our normal meetings. But for those of you who haven't been here before, we're the Nevada City Public Arts Commission. And we were created out of a community-driven strategic planning process that Nevada City did for their 2022 strategic plan, where one of the initiatives that was identified was vibrancy, which encapsulates arts and culture and how we, cultivate a distinctive je ne sais quoi of Nevada City. And out of that Vibrancy Commission, which Vice Mayor Klein and Councilwoman Fernandez chaired, several goals were set, including the establishment of a public arts ordinance that happened in June 2023, kind of setting out guidelines of what public art looks like, why we want to foster it, and how that's going to work. And then the Nevada City Public Arts Commission was also formed. We are the, we're advising the council on all things arts and culture, but also the kind of like review authority for projects that come through the application process set forth in the ordinance. Okay, it's boring. It's not boring, it's great. But that is part of why we're here, and happy to. Is it just the three of you? It sure isn't. And in fact, Lisa, sorry, you're not even on the commission. No, but we have some, we have intentional representation from several different organizations in the county, which we won't get into too much. But if you are on the Public Arts Commission, maybe just give me a little ding, and we'll all return to the dais after this moment.
It's a 7-member commission, and Mira Clark is also on the commission, and she's absent tonight.
Okay, that's all I've done enough.
Okay, all right, we are going to go ahead.
Hey, look at that.
Oh.
So first survey question that we're going to be answering tonight are, what words or themes do you feel best represent our town for this artwork? Our town being Nevada City.
You mean in the future or right now?
For this project
For this-
specifically.
For this project at the
Oh, for
Y.
artists. Okay. Thank you. So this hasn't changed.
And what if you refresh it?
Yep, that worked. How did you refresh it?
Oh, press the little circle arrow in the top of your brow.
Got it?
Nice.
Working for everybody?
That's from-
It's growing.
You have to select show responses.
Yeah, I'm going to do that once everyone's done.
We should get a jazz combo to play in here next time we do this. Just like in the, no, not that song, but yeah, that kind of, just the Jeopardy song before. Yeah, I think we're good.
But we're good.
Yeah.
here you can see the most important things that have come through the survey so far. It's a little bit tiny. I'm seeing historic, Nisenan, creativity, no art, community, nature, culture, transformation, Victorian.
Strong enough of that.
Authentic, eclectic music, Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District, unobtrusive, diversity, reciprocity, repair, mining, and many others. So we'll go to the next question.
How does the app decide what's in the center or like bigger? Is it something that's
So the-
repeated or?
Yeah, the more times that people respond with that, it
Okay.
gets more larger.
Got it.
Okay, yeah, so how do you see this artwork contributing to the downtown area? Why would we want to have art there at the entrance to downtown Nevada City? What's our objective?
Because we want to further gentrify Nevada City.
Eliza!
That's not an option.
It's not actually the entrance. You'd be exiting by the time you
Well, it depends where you're coming from.
If you're coming down the hill in this direction, then either one you wouldn't be seeing it because you'd be going the opposite way.
Oh,
You'd be going up the hill, you'd see it.
oh, okay.
Maybe.
Well,
I don't
maybe.
know. Depends
Who
on where it's
knows?
placed.
Totally.
Oh. Well, I was thinking like parts again. They're going there. The word artwork.
Okay,
Whoops. Me too.
Wow. So, storytelling history.
so I'm seeing the most popular responses are storytelling and history, or social or cultural commentary.
Can you
Beautification is
tell
a-
us about how the survey's been distributed and if it's going to be distributed
Yeah.
more?
Yep, so the survey, I checked this morning and we had 33 responses so far. We made it live last Thursday, I believe, and then we did a press release to get the word out to the news channels. And then we also did a social post on Tuesday that got some traction, and I think those two things really made more participation. And then the survey will be available for a few more weeks, and then we'll close it before the next meeting of the commission.
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah.
I am not the most tech savvy. I'm fairly confident. When I clicked on the image that said, or take the online survey, there was no link to it. So I couldn't figure out how to get to the online survey. And I
From-
poked around.
From social,
Yeah.
social media? Okay, we will check it. Thanks.
I have a question. Is just a flower pot considered a piece of art? It has to
No.
be something.
Landscape. Okay, so our next question, we're ready for it. What aspects of our city's history, culture, or environment should be reflected in this artwork? And then list any specific symbols, stories, figures, or ideas.
And it doesn't look like you can submit more than once, so don't try.
Only have 200 characters.
You only have two, you can only tweet your response.
So can you tell each time a response is coming in?
I don't think so. Okay.
Because this one, because they're having to enter words and stuff, it's, you've got it now. Okay, good. Yes?
Another question?
Yes.
Am I understanding correctly that the survey online will combine with the 14 people in this room? Okay.
Correct.
And then how long will that bring me? Maybe you said it and I missed it.
Another 3 weeks? did you say?
How
Yeah.
long will the survey be open?
Yeah, for 3 weeks, yeah.
3 more.
Do you know the final date?
I can check that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not just the people in the room, people who are watching at home, they could be following along, so.
How are we doing out there? Anybody running into problems on this one? Entering your words or whatever?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Look at this, look at this, okay. Inches, wrought iron, and historic listening.
Oh, 57 responses, great.
So I think these ones were from people who had already done the survey.
Yeah.
And then we'll get down here to people in the room. Is it good now?
Oh.
Sorry, it's so hard to even synthesize what I'm reading.
I know,
here. It's
there's
like
so
the-
many.
the-
We're up to
it's like
46
little
responses.
paragraphs, but definitely seeing, feelings about the existence of it at all, which is going to be its own thing. But yeah, nature, the Nevada City Rancheria, historic references, natural surroundings, maybe, yeah, newer interpretations of being here that aren't tied to our recent history. There was on the on the first slide, Lisa, just for context, one thing that we talked about last month at the commission when this came up and kind of what led us to want to bring community into the room was we were talking about proposed artwork along the lines of a historic clock, a sundial, a statue, specifically a seated figure on a bench that represents a significant person to Nevada City's history, and artwork integrated into the hardscape material. So just that was what we had been kind of mulling over in February. Cool. And we will definitely, I mean, I should never say definitely. Will we make these results public?
Yes.
We will.
They have to be.
Definitely make these results public and provide them to, it'll be on the next agenda.
Yeah, so survey will close on the 26th, Marianne. Yeah. Okay, next question.
What type of art or what materials do you think would be most appropriate? Sculpture, artistic hardscape, metal, wood, stone, glass, mixed media? And this is again like a short response, so you'll only probably get one chance. And any like context or, reasoning is helpful as we move forward as the commission. In the event that we move forward as the commission, part of that is developing the request for proposals, and as specific as we can be is helpful because it attracts the appropriate artists who work with the appropriate materials. So understanding that from your own personal experience is helpful.
Yes.
I was just curious, are you going to use Cafe to put the request for a proposal?
We don't currently use Cafe. There's kind of a large cost associated with using it, but we might.
Is it what?
There's a cost associated with Cafe.
Oh, really? What's that?
Yeah, it's a call to artist service, like a website service that you sign up for a membership for. Yeah.
What
So
did
we
we
have
do
it for our Champ Gallery. We did it as a Microsoft form, and then folks emailed specific pictures and things directly. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Of course.
Will this be open only to local artists? County artists only, or larger?
It hasn't been determined yet for, did we have a restriction on Champ Gallery? Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
something that would be decided by the commission in the call to artists process. Yeah.
Is there a dollar figure that's given?
No, we're not there yet. Yeah.
Didn't we on the Champ Gallery, we kind of had it local, but if they had ties to the community?
Yeah. Kathy was just saying for the Champ Gallery, and when we had done a request for proposal draft previously, we were like asking, not that folks had residency established here, but to try to or to demonstrate that they had ties to the community in some kind of meaningful way. And that would, come into play in the selection process. But yeah, this is really like some exploratory research we're doing here and
It's just-
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, too slow. Okay. So again, these are the results from folks that took the survey online already. We had a lot of folks saying nothing, and then we'll go down here.
Stone, wood, sculpture, metal, wood, stone. Cool. Stand the test of time, agreed.
Durable materials, that's a, yeah.
Yeah. Avoid cheesy clutter. Great, deal. That's fair.
Not wood.
We like that. It's gonna be our only part of the request for proposal. No cheesy clutter. River rocks, concrete, mixed media, awesome. Cool, and so, yeah, I think we already mentioned it, but at the next meeting in April, we will be able to, we'll present these results and we'll also be able to like evaluate and analyze what we're hearing so we can kind of present a coherent, like what's showing up again and again to inform the decision. Cool. Are there colors, materials, styles you think would best complement the downtown area? Are there? Another short answer response. We're just gonna give it a minute. We're gonna give it a minute. Cool. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Bronze. Neutral, natural, subtle. Warm, local wood.
Can you scroll back up?
Sure.
Old style, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Historical colors. Concept should lead materials. Totally, fair enough. Rusty metal. Love that. Black, white, bronze, concrete, earth tone. Something that doesn't stand out too much, but blends with the landscape. Cool. Mosaic. Cool. Thank you.
Hey, what height or size do you feel would be appropriate for the art installation in this space?
12 by 20 is the
12 by 20, yes.
the space. I don't know how big that is.
It's not that big.
Is it as big, how,
How big is
Probably
it?
from the wall to Shannon
That big.
would be 20 feet, and then 14 would be from here to maybe right behind Stewart or so.
And keeping in mind, there's traffic on either side of it, so.
I don't need to just
Very good.
that, but helpful.
Let's see it.
Yep.
12 feet, 10 feet, minimum 5 feet, not too high. Yeah, large enough to demand attention and awe from a human body. Yeah, that's cool. 6 to 15 feet, human scale. Give drivers the chance to see it while driving by, not just pedestrians. We don't want an eyesore. Fair enough. Yeah, I get it's hard for people to envision it without like knowing what we're even talking about, but this is all really great information. At least 8 feet high. Human scale, tall and wide.
Positioned well to the space available without
Proportioned
obscuring.
well? Yeah.
Proportioned, so that it's not impeding traffic.
A delight for pedestrians and not a nuisance. That's the balance we're trying to strike with all of our public arts projects. Ooh, someone's really specific. I like it. 2 by 2 by 6.
Not- Nothing too high, so it obscures the historic house behind it. Yeah, wide range.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, go ahead. Of course.
the house behind it?
Yeah.
Has anybody talked to those folks about the big plan here?
Yes.
What's the response?
I think they took the survey, and I did receive a letter from that homeowner, and it's in the agenda packet for this meeting. I don't know all the specifics of what their response was, but I do know that they referenced the sergeant statue that was proposed for the location before, and then he also included a letter from that time period that he had given to the mayor at the time, and I think it was 2018. So, yeah.
That's, for anyone who's interested, that's the historical Malloy house that you look straight at.
What is it?
Malloy, M-U-L-L-O-Y. Charles Malloy. He was at one time a member of the Board of Supervisors, an important person in town. He got the house, I believe, in 1868 or 69. As people know, some people consider it haunted, but he didn't actually hang himself in the house. He hanged himself in the carriage house behind the house.
I didn't know he hung himself at all.
Do you think it's haunted?
Pardon?
Do you think it's haunted?
No, but
haven't
maybe
seen
the
it
carriage
yet?
house is, that it's gone, so I
Wow.
don't know.
Big
No,
Halloween
just a
carriage.
mini little history of it.
The first thing I did in Nevada City was get a haunted walking tour, the guy with the top hat and the tails.
Mark Lyons.
Yes, and he believes it's very haunted.
Is that still a
He
thing?
shared a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they do it at
Is he
Halloween.
still doing that?
Yeah,
But we have it on our.
and he's putting together a, yeah.
Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District, walking tour. And,
Cool.
yeah, so it's there, you can check it out.
Love it.
Do you mind? Whose turn is it to read?
Pardon?
Is it Shannon's turn to read this?
No, it's Kathy's turn.
I thought I just read the height.
Really?
No, we're on a new one, we're on the,
I think it's you.
Well, you know,
It's you.
guys, what concerns do you have about a permanent public art installation in this location? Concerns such as maintenance, visibility, safety, relevance. Lay them all out there. What should we be taking into consideration? Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. Seeing if you did any piano discussion yet.
Not yet. You're gonna be just in time.
Good.
I think this might be the last question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
And then we'll open it up for some public.
If you're feeling ambitious,
Questions
you're
and
welcome to
comment.
participate in this online survey we're doing in real time.
I do it all the time, trust me.
Great, yeah, well, you see that little code at the top. Otherwise, you can just relax and look around.
Gee, I hope he didn't come down from Truckee in this weather.
Maybe.
Did you come down from Truckee?
I teach piano at Foggy Mountain Music.
Oh,
In Marietta down
cool.
there. Yeah. All my families. My family, I think, is the oldest family in this county. If you go back into the 1850s. The Sweet family, I don't know if you know
Oh.
where Higgins Corner is. down there.
Don Sweet, Don and Joanne Sweet.
Any
Mhm.
of those are my descendants or something like that.
Great. What concerns do people have, Lisa?
We ready for them?
Yeah.
Reveal the
Now we're gonna
concerns.
get some questions here.
You can still reveal your concern. Oh, no. We can reveal the concerns. You can still continue to have them while we reveal them.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Okay.
I've been doing most of the
There's
talking. You can do
traffic.
it, yeah.
Detracts from the surrounding homes, not sure about the location, defacement. Yep. Um, Need for low maintenance is very important.
Yeah, long-term durability.
Mm.
Something that can adapt or change is great. That's cool. Cool. Great,
Okay.
That's not coming through.
yeah.
There it is.
We have another one.
Okay, I think this one's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one, what accessibility considerations should be kept in mind? For example, the seating, multilingual plaques, tactile elements for the visually impaired. Surface that wheelchairs can roll across. Because if it's going to be a cobbled sidewalk, getting to it, that's hard. We have tripping hazards, something with tactile quality, shade.
Seating, stroller space, walker, wheelchair accessibility. Yeah.
Raised letterings on plaques.
That's cool. Great,
Work with Freed on things.
awesome.
Okay. Is there another one, or is that?
And this is
Okay.
a general question.
Oh, that's not our one we started with. That's you.
It's me? Oh, man, the most important question of all. Just kidding. But what role do you think public art should play in our community? Three words.
And this is our last one, I
We
believe.
have one more.
We have one more.
Do you have any other thoughts, ideas, concerns?
Okay, and then we'll
We
open.
should have made it short.
So after this, we have one more survey question, and then we'll open it up for public input and questions. All right. So, are you reading that?
Beautification, I'm just looking at it. Beautification, it's changing. Education.
Inspiration.
Inspiration. Representation.
Uplifting. Okay.
Fun. Great. Informative, awesome. Cool. Advocacy, history.
Storytelling, beauty.
Utility
Okay.
boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. That'll be helpful just for our work in general to understand where people are coming from.
Yeah.
Cool.
So one last question, and then we'll open this up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any other thoughts, ideas, or concerns about this project that you want to capture in the survey? And then we'll open it up to hear what you have to say tonight.
Can I say something?
Pardon?
You open the comment?
We're going to after this last question on the survey. And Sean will be walking around with a handheld mic for people to speak into. Oh, so we can take can we go back to the QR code at the very end? I mean, after we're done with
Yeah.
this one.
Did you want to join the survey? Did you want to join on your phone, the survey?
Yeah,
So if you go to menti.com, and then
He was just gonna,
I just had some ideas for you.
cool.
You can
Yeah, you
just
can totally share them
share them.
in just
Okay.
30 seconds or something.
Okay, we're going to wrap this part up with
Yeah.
a few comments, and then we'll go to the public here tonight. Okay. Shannon, read away.
Oh, reading away, you know.
No, and
There's
yes,
all-
many.
There's all kinds of feelings here.
We're at both
And we're
ranges.
excited to look over these feelings and discuss them in further detail, I think, next
Right,
month.
yeah, they're all over, they're wide-ranging, and we'll get this compiled down into information that's
Broad,
for everybody to digest.
Correct.
And with that, we'd like to open it up to comments now. Any comments, people would, suggestions, comments, questions that people would like to?
So the reason for the mic is so that it gets recorded on the video so the commission can see it later. Anybody can see it at home. They won't be able to hear you without a mic, so.
And we're not timing responses, but just being mindful of.
We are, we're gonna time.
Oh, we are timing?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were being all
We have
loosey-goosey. You
No,
have 3 minutes.
we have a long meeting after this.
Hello, Stuart Baker with the Nevada City Chamber. I would say the Nisenan statement that's read publicly, I would love to see that, I don't know if the word is immortalized, but put somewhere, because it's a really important statement, and it would be great to have it somewhere permanent within our, so I don't know if that can be worked in. That's one thing. And this is more personal than from the chamber, but I would say it would be great to have something art-wise kind of sophisticated, not too literal. That whole, I think, cheesy came up at one point, just to really focus on something that I think we're looking to become as sophisticated a place as possible for visitors, and it would be nice to see that reflected in artwork, especially since we have so few opportunities in the downtown to have that. So that's.
You have 2 minutes left.
Thanks. My name's Jody Sweet, and my family's been here since the gold rush. I'm a professional piano player. I play in Truckee on weekends. I've been doing that for almost 20 years. One of the gals over here knows me. I have about 8 YouTube videos that we've done called Pizza Piano. And I just came down. I thought if I could be some help for you. One of the things we did is during the Truckee Wine Walk is that we sometimes go out there and play about 4 hours each. And I bring my students down, and we scare the people, as they say. I just wanted to give you a couple ideas that if you're trying to kind of go back in time, there is something about the piano playing, especially with the hotel down the street. I don't know if you remember Coleman, who used to own that. He used to have about 30 pianos that were kind of buried up in his hotel there, and I used to go down and play them. So there were a lot of what they call kind of gunslinger type piano players in this town, and especially during the gold rush. Back in the 1850s, there were stories, especially of Deer Creek. It goes from my great-grandfather to me, is that creek at one time for a week was producing about 8 pounds of gold a day out of it. What I'm kind of getting at is the character of that gold tied to the town, plus the tunnels under here that they had all over, mine shafts everywhere. It kind of gives it almost a haunted type thing. And in Truckee, we kind of have the same thing with the railroad. I call it kind of spiritual or whatever, but I think it kind of romanticized things about this town, because this was a pretty tumbled town. If you look at it, I'll just give you one piece. My great-great-grandfather was killed in a gold dispute back in 1872. We had mines down, we had 2 of them. So I kind of know that business a little bit. My relatives also was, Chet Butler was one of the head guys at the Empire. But the fantasy of the gold that was brought out of here, tied in with Nevada City, is pretty, it is California history. And especially that hotel down there where a lot of the Hearsts, a lot of California PG&E started at that hotel. So I'm just saying, if you're going to kind of sell this thing, I think piano's a good thing, because it kind of gives it a clunkiness, especially if their pianos are detuned at night and you're playing. And it's very, very authentic, and it kind of gives you an edge on other towns. But I'm down to 10 seconds before I blow up. But I'll leave you my cards before I go, and you can contact me. Thank you.
Anyone else comments on the art at the Y?
Hi there. Cool. My name is Alex Hayes. I'm a local resident. I'm not from this area. I'm from the East Coast, but my family lives here.
God,
And
man, we're good friends of
I think this is a really awesome opportunity to bring, to use art to communicate. I strongly feel that art is a way to bring those voices forward in communities that aren't heard. I think it's very important to understand that, art itself is a form of expression. It's a way to relate to each other, to learn, and again, to communicate. So with that, I mean, it makes a lot of sense in my mind and my feelings that it should relate to the Nisanons. But also, again, I think it's a way we might be able to incorporate a lot of different styles, whether it's a statue or, I mean, I did a lot of mural work across the U.S., so I'm huge into understanding the impact that murals can do. I think they're adaptable. I think they have the opportunity to change with anything and everything. It's a great way to involve kids and youth. That's a big thing that I'm a part of and I care about. So yeah, I guess I know you have a huge journey ahead of you all, but I think it's great that you're communicating with us as the public, and I wish you all the best. Thanks.
Side by side, Eliza and
I'm just, is it on? It's so weird, like sitting in my seat. I can't hear it. I'm thinking about the concept of permaculture design and how things are designed to fit into the landscape, not necessarily stick out. I think about the people that are driving past. I think about the potential for large groups of people being gathered there, and both of those sound potentially dangerous. And so just thinking about, again, permaculture design and having things blend in with the landscape in both color and style, as a way to add without dropping a bomb. Oh, also, and if there were any interest in the Nisanon acknowledgement, they do have an updated version that they work with. So just to think about that.
And this is a sort of public note to self as an art commissioner with you as a team, just to look at the lexicon of the language that we share with our public. So we have members of the public here tonight who think they hate public art, but they may have a very, very specific sense of what public art is. And we may not be aware that we're pushing up barriers just by using blanket phrases like art. So for example, an artistic hardscape might be helpful to also share what the definition of that. It's like a beautiful piece of very sensitive artistic landscaping that blends seamlessly into the place where we're thinking, offering, seeking input on it at the top of Broad. So I think the way we ask questions will help our public better understand the possibilities rather than create barriers.
I think that's the one that doesn't work. Hello?
it works.
It does? Okay.
Yep.
Well, okay.
More for the people
No,
at
I
home.
forgot my question. I have short-term memory.
You-
Oh. Yeah, I wanted to know how this will be funded. That's a tough question. Getting funding is pretty, it's big. And I guess you don't really have a budget. You don't know, but do you have a range of how much you can spend or what that might look like?
It's
That's a
all
question. That's a question.
exploratory. It's all exploratory at this part. We want to see what the community's input is, and the commission will give advice to the council on what project, if any, might be best fit there, and then we'll work backwards from there for what the right project would cost.
Okay. Well, you'll have to have the budget right up front. That will help the artist, look at that and see, well, no, I can't do that. There's not enough money there or something,
My name is Solomon Bassoff. I've been doing public art for over 23 years now. Often I'll apply to a public art project, and often the times it's weighted towards the community. Colorado has this, where they often will only allow Colorado artists. So again, I'd like to emphasize that we have a tremendous talent in this community in Nevada County of artists, of architects, of people that would have the talent to be able to do something very wonderful here. So I'm really hoping that it's kept local, it's weighted local and to support local artists.
Marianne, you want to be part of your own study?
No,
Who else? Vice Mayor, you spoke earlier. You want us to share anything else? No? Seconds? Gianna.
I think whatever is decided, I think considering, diversity is really important, and what kinds of voices are being represented in that, and not only that, but like, who are these artists that are creating this? Like, if we are creating something that express diversity, are we bringing diverse artists to be a part of this? I do think that there's one theme that really does bring people together, and that is biodiversity. And I think, Felix Gillet, sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, is somebody that really contributed locally to create a lot of biodiversity locally. So like ecology could be something that could speak to a much broader audience. But again, I think, the education of like food sovereignty, I think can come with that. And I think everybody can relate to that and how food really affects all of us, no matter our backgrounds. So I think that could be a great theme to explore. And I would really encourage also like potentially a group of artists, if that would be possible, to create a piece, so it's not just one artist. Yeah.
Through Lisa, you'll check, but it's at the city website and then also on the city social media. We are continuing the regular Public Arts Commission meeting after a short break, so anybody's welcome to stay. But we really appreciate your input tonight for this.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
back room and you'll see yourself
Hi.
on TV.
Great. So welcome back. We now have a presentation from the Nevada County Arts Council, and I think, Lisa, you'll be introducing that, or?
There's no introduction for this item. Eliza's just going to go ahead and do her presentation.
Yes, I can sit here, can't I?
Yes.
Sure, of
Good,
course.
good, good. So I'm just going to whiz through. I actually stupidly didn't even realize I was presenting tonight, but luckily I can do the same one that I gave to the City Council last week. So thank you so much.
Lucky us.
So, and then I'm going to be asking you to move the slides along. So for the sake of the public, we're being recorded. So I'm Eliza Tudor, Executive Director at Nevada County Arts Council, as you know, and a longtime resident of Nevada City. And you're looking at a gorgeous picture taken late last year. Taken late last year at the opening of Artists at Work, the culmination of a 2-year project called Upstate California Creative Core, led by Nevada County Arts Council. Through the Creative Core, artists worked with units of government and social service agencies, tribal governments, environmental agencies, and local communities. And then if we could go to the next slide, thank you. The picture itself is a fantastic symbol of art and service to civic life and civic engagement, and a perfect place to launch into a conversation about culture forward. More about this in a moment, but it will just to say it will manifest as a 5-year arts and culture action plan for our entire county, but centering our 2 California cultural districts, so Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District and Truckee Cultural District. And then if we can move along. Our sponsors are, thanks to one-time funding from the state, the California Arts Council, Nevada County Arts Council, Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District, and the Truckee Cultural District. And then if we can move along. Our planning partners are the City of Nevada City, the City of Grass Valley, the Town of Truckee, Truckee Arts Alliance, Grass Valley Chamber, Nevada City Chamber, Truckee Chamber, Grass Valley Downtown Association, and Truckee Downtown Merchants Association. And we hope that obviously the Commission will play a key part in our planning processes. Like, this is where we can really shine. It's like a once in a generation thing that, we've spent considerable dollars, thanks to this one-time funding from the state, to make sure that we have a plan for the future. So first, a little context, if we go to the next slide. As you know, Grass Valley, Nevada City, I think it's the next one after that as well. That's it, yeah. As you know, Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District is one of only 4 rural districts in California, among an inaugural cohort of only 14. Along with our sister California Cultural District in Truckee, we have a strategic opportunity to plan for our future in a way that puts us ahead of other communities. Together, we can build on the concept of creative placekeeping, strengthen our cross-sector partnerships, engage with our community, advance real local change, address our most important community challenges, work against the byproducts of placemaking, such as gentrification and the displacement of artists, nurture future cultural leaders, plan as a county, because together we're better. And for this to happen, our arts sector must play a vital role. So again, I see that as a real conduit to work with the Commission, like work with us on this as partners. And then if we go to the next slide. So why does state designation matter? Being a California cultural district gives us a competitive edge for grant funding and fundraising. It gives us a vehicle for better acknowledgement of our vibrant arts and cultural scene. It provides an umbrella brand to promote arts and culture and strengthen sustainable, thoughtful tourism. And it creates access and promotes equitable practices in our sector. If we move to the next slide. So back to the example of our program, Upstate California Creative Core, in shining a light on the role of artists as essential workers. in Nevada County alone, we invested almost $500,000 to support awareness for some of our most critical local issues. Next slide. $60 million from the 21-22 state budget was invested in the Creative Core, with Nevada County Arts Council leading the upstate region, responsible for re-granting funds across 19 counties. These photos that you were just looking at and will be looking at were taken at the opening of our Artists at Work exhibition at the end of last year that I think we already spoke to. Where we celebrated just those Nevada County artists across the whole county who we funded. And of course, this is Supervisor Hardy Bullock at the opening. And the next slide shows someone that we all recognize, drawing inspiration for the city's Champ Gallery, which is so beautiful, by the way. It looks gorgeous. And I know that you're going to soon be adding Grass Valley Nevada City Cultural District branding, which is great. So let's move along. Let's look at some of our foundational work for Culture Forward. That's our Arts and Culture Action Plan, which will last us 5 years. In 2024, we led an RFP process resulting in the contracting of Scansion, a human-centered design consultancy. We chaired a leadership roundtable at the Miners Foundry. We supported Scansion's deep dive into key studies and reports, including the county's new Economic Development Action Plan, its Community Wildfire Protection Plan, its Recreation and Resiliency Master Plan, the Sierra Economic Development District's Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, that's CEDS, and our own recently published Arts and Economic Prosperity Study. We supported interviews with key experts in these areas, created Culture Forward Style Guide to support our community engagement phase, which we kicked off last week. And we created an Arts and Culture Action Plan framing report. And if we move on, as you know, last year, as I said, we released the foundings of our Arts and Economic Prosperity Action Plan, the Economic Prosperity Plan, showing $66 million in economic activity during financial year 2022-23. That's $31.9 million in spending by arts and culture organizations, and an additional $34.1 million in event-related expenditures by their audiences. This economic activity supported almost 1,500 jobs, provided $39.4 million in personal income to residents, and generated $13.2 million in tax revenue to local, state, and federal governments. So it's not just about beautification, is it? But this came with a caveat. COVID-era recovery funds, now fully spent, had boosted revenues, even as audience behaviors had shifted. Enthusiasm for in-person events post-COVID has quickly waned, and our struggling venues now report fluctuating attendance and smaller group events. The industry is driving growth and fostering community, yet is navigating a completely different world and suffering, as we know. On a more fun note, we continue to chip away at some seriously fun cultural asset mapping, and more on this in a moment. So, as I mentioned, we led a leadership roundtable, a cross-sector leadership roundtable last June in the Foundry, and this is where we kicked off Culture Forward. A full day's agenda saw us include a panel on tourism, since one of the deliverables of our 5-year Arts and Culture Action Plan will be a regional marketing plan for the arts. So we had on this one panel the VP of Global Tourism and Destination Advisory at JAL Consulting, who are leading Visit California's regional tourism strategy for Gold Country. The Vice President of Research and Policy at Americans for the Arts flew in from Washington. And we had the CEO of Visit Truckee Tahoe, as well as the Deputy Director of Creative West and Strategic Associate at Scansion, our consultants for Culture Forward. So we were already getting into the sort of deep dive of what could this look like, how can marketing, what is the philosophy of destination development, the big picture of Visit California's work, and the economic and social impacts of cultural tourism locally. We know, of course, that cultural tourists spend more and stay longer. And the arts have, everything to do with that. So we're now going to just have a look at some of our maps that we've been having fun with. This one was designed by Stephanie Sabirski. Oops. Yes.
The maps?
Yes, please. Sorry, I have a more updated version. This is a sort of playful look at Nevada County. It was at the center spread of our first issue of Muse, which I think you've all seen. We're now into the second issue. The next slide shows our cultural districts, cultural district impacts through the lens of their transportation sheds. That is, how many people have access to us within 1 hour's drive. As you can see from this map, both districts command a regional population transportation shed of over 1.5 million people. So it's really fascinating to look at it like that. The next slide shows Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District alone, with a transportation shed of close to 1 million people within an hour's drive of us. And the next map, this one here, shows GVNC in relation not only to the cultural assets that drive our local economy, but access to affordable housing. Those are the little pink dots. How can we protect the very workforce that so drives our economy and creates the sense of home we know and love, while simultaneously making it a welcoming place for visitors? And if we move on, here we are with key state legislators. Oops, you're going to move on to the next one. I'm sorry, I took some slides out. And if you move on again. Yes, you need to move back. We're looking at a picture of lots of people on a stage at the Center for the Arts. Okay, you've definitely not got the right one. Never mind, it's okay. So in my presentation, I have this amazing picture of the Center for the Arts in Grass Valley, which shows the kickoff to a state tour by some of the most important state legislators who hold the purse strings for the arts in California. So Senator Ben Allen was there, and Assemblymember Tasha Borna Horvath. And why this relates to the slide that we've just seen that shows affordable housing in our Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District is that it was during that kickoff tour in late 2022, Sean was there, that we had at Nevada County Arts Council had a conversation with Assemblymember Tasha Borna about the desperate need for affordable housing for artists in rural spaces, because we all know that you can find these amazing hubs in more urban spaces, but in rural California it's impossible. As a result of our conversation with Tasha, she went away and literally wrote legislation to make to ensure that any municipalities within half a mile of a cultural district must include a percentage of new bills for affordable housing for artists. So it was an example of Nevada County Arts Council's very powerful advocacy work. We also helped her with the language for that bill, which is now passed. It's Assembly Bill 812, sorry. Great. So now we're going to, we really are not in the same place. So there's a picture of our map, our cultural asset map that highlights. How about I switch? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So this is a view of Nevada City's downtown area from our original digital cultural asset map, where you can click on any asset and it opens up with a description and a link to that venue or that gallery. And from this, we've worked in tandem with the Chamber of Commerce this year in Nevada City to create a story map and are using a platform called Story. That's the marvelous work of Heather Heckler, our outgoing GVNC program manager. to give visitors a truly immersive experience, and that was wonderful. The power of partnerships, working with the Chamber on that. Great, so now we're going to go to the goals and objective slide, which is a red one. Yep, that's right, great. So here are Culture Forward's deliverables. Our 5-year plan will identify avenues of funding and opportunities for partnership to stabilize the sector. We'll align municipal investments, we hope to align municipal investments in arts and culture with city and county goals and priorities in areas such as affordable housing, public safety, economic development, climate mitigation, emergency preparedness and disaster response, recreation and mobility. And, our message to our municipalities and to our county government is put us to work to help you communicate your priorities. It's what we did with Upstate California Creative Corps. Our artists created roadmaps to public health access and delivered incredibly absorbable solutions to climate mitigation and emergency preparedness and disaster response. So artists can be incredible messengers. Identify career pathways and workforce development opportunities in the arts and culture sector. Identify strategies to advance and integrate cultural equity for all Nevada County residents. Recognize the importance of arts advocacy and inspire cultural leaders, creatives, volunteers, and audiences to flex their individual and collective power to protect and advance the arts. And include a regional marketing plan that promotes sustainable cultural tourism and acknowledges the value of local participation. After all, we're living here. So if we move on. So these are the ways, if you could move on. Sorry, it's not, there we go. So there are many ways right now. Who received an email from us last week? Great. Okay. Did you get one, Jonas? Cool. Yeah. Okay, so have you taken our survey yet?
I have not yet.
Now listen here, young person. As a public art commissioner, you are duty bound. No, we'd love it if you'd take the survey because your voice is so important. And all of you, please, at the very least, as public art commissioners, please take the survey because the results of that survey are incredibly important, when it comes time to do the analysis and interpretation of all the input that we've received during the community engagement phase. Our consultants, Scansion, will be visiting Truckee 2 weeks from now. We'll be up in Truckee doing lots of listening sessions and stakeholder groups, and we'll be down in Nevada City and Grass Valley at the end of April. We forced Truckee to go first because we knew we needed more time because our creative ecosystem is more dense. So I'll be looking to the Commission for ideas on what role can the Commission play? How can we all get engaged and encourage others to participate in this incredibly important work? We could have invested these one-time funds from the state in putting on a big street party or paying an extra member of staff to support us. But we didn't. We invested in a plan because we can see in the distance the value it will have. So any ideas you have for engaging and how we can engage better with our community on behalf of the arts, please let us know. And that's it. This is just, if you go to the next slide, that's the survey QR code, and our website is cultureforwardca.org. So that's really easy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eliza. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions for Eliza? We know how to find you.
Is it exciting to you that we're doing this huge bit of work?
Yeah, I do. I guess I do have a clarifying question, but do we public comment it first? No, we don't. You know what you're doing.
Oh.
I don't need to know what you're doing. Okay, Culture Forward 5-year plan.
Yeah.
The goals and objectives have been established for the 5-year plan.
Yes. we want to strengthen the arts ecosystem. Actually, you can put them up on the slide if you wouldn't mind. Put that slide. There's a
And, okay, and then, so are you seeking public opinion on, like, actioning these objectives? What is the intent of the community input at this point?
It's symbiotic. So in the way that we seek input from our community, we're also educating the community about the role that artists play in society and the potential for their sustainability in Nevada County. So often in the public art world, for example, we simply talk about things, we use words like revitalization and beautification without really thinking about what the implications are. Like, are the artists that create this beautiful landscape being nourished? Are they being invested in? Will they be pushed out of their homes? What are the community priorities that the city adopts each year and that our county adopts each year? And how can our artist community serve those community priorities? So it's really kind of an alignment of goals, not two camps, if you like. And really it was our work with Upstate Creative Corps that we created an amazing impact report that has now gone to every legislator in the state, and it's published online, that clearly shows the role that artists might play. And then, of course, it is also about beautification and bringing people together and building bridges and lessening that divide.
And just, so if I'm like talking to my friends or whatever, I'm in my community and I'm like, hey, there's this ask, we want engagement on this, we're having a listening session in Grass Valley in the end of April. What can I tell them?
What can they expect?
What can they expect?
Yes.
And
yeah.
like what would be kind of like, I don't know, if talking
You were
about
to-
ideal outcomes is the
Right. So they'll arrive, they'll enter a room with no more than about 25
With
people
no
in
lights.
it. With no lights. It'll be completely dark. They won't know where they are.
I love that.
They'll be asked to wear very strange clothes.
Yeah, I've been to that part.
Better be careful. No, so this really is about us listening. So there'll be a series of questions. We'll release the agenda in advance. If anyone is curious about the role of arts and culture in society, or interested in giving input on what it might be, then come along, because we want to hear from you. It really is about seeking community input on arts and culture. It's so often the case that we speak about arts and culture, but unless we actually create a plan for it, it's almost unsustainable. The amount of output, I mean, that's why we did the economic development, the economic impact study. Just to be able to share those numbers is extraordinary. Where are they coming from? Just come along and use your voice. It's very important.
Will there be more specifics about the when
Yes.
and where? Okay.
Gianna Arbex, who you're going to hear from in a minute in public comment, will be hopefully joining this commission. And she's our new Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District Program Manager, and will be working with you all and giving you updates. And our priority for the first few weeks of working together is to establish those listening session venues and times and dates. We're looking at the very end of April, Wednesday, Thursday, the last Wednesday and Thursday of April, and then the Friday is the 1st of May. So you can already save those dates.
Great. Well, thank you again, Eliza.
Of course.
Sean, clarifying question, do we ask for public comment on this present? Okay, we move into just general.
Presentations don't have public comment.
Okay.
Because they're not action items. But if you wanted to give public comment on a presentation, that's the next thing on the agenda.
All right, so public comment. Government Code Section 54954.3 provides that any member of the public may address the commission on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the commission or staff to discuss issues brought forth under public comment. The commission cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on a future agenda. And please note that comments from the public will also be taken on each agenda item at the time it is heard. Speakers must adhere to the meeting procedures identified above. Do we have any public comment? Yes.
My name is Gianna Arbex, and I just wanted to introduce myself to the Public Arts Commission. As Eliza mentioned, the new program manager for the Grass Valley and Nevada City Cultural District, which I think all of you know, we're one within our county. So we have 2 cultural districts within our county out of 14 state designated cultural districts in the state. So it's a real honor for me to be a part of this, and I will be joining the Culture Forward team, in developing this, first of its kind arts and culture action plan. So I really look forward to doing that and engaging in the arts locally. And just to kind of mirror what Eliza was saying, we really want to hear your voices. So the more that you can really help us spread the word for people to take the survey, cultureforwardca.org, and also the listening sessions, I think will be very crucial to have your voices on there too and help us spread the word. We'll be posting those on our website as well as soon as we have a more clear schedule. But again, save the date for end of April, early May, and we'll have several locations with different times, so in order to accommodate as many people as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items. Before we take action on the consent calendar, we will hear any public comment on consent calendar items only. Do we have any public comment on a consent item? Okay, so I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Arianes and a second by Commissioner Schwartz. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Arianes?
Aye.
Here. Commissioner Tudor?
Yeah.
Commissioner Wilcox Barnes?
It says aye on the motion.
Yes. Vice Chair Hardy? Aye. And Chair Negrete?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Lovely. All right, we're moving on to business. So it's a consideration of selection of the theme for the May 2025 City Hall Arts Meets the Public Gallery. This is going to be presented by Lisa.
Okay, so it's that time when the Public Arts Commission needs to select a theme for the next installation of the Champ Gallery. The current exhibit will be up until May 1st. So we're excited to choose the theme tonight and have the commission work on this. And I will follow up with a call to artists later this week. And so just as a reminder, the Champ Gallery installations are 4-month installments, so there's 3 exhibits a year. And I'm so thankful to the commission for all of the great ideas that you guys sent my way. I'll just kind of run through them. There's quite a few, so I don't think I can go into reading the whole thing. But before I do that, I will just sort of remind on the timeline that we will submit the call to artists application this week, and then we'll open it on the 7th, which would be Friday. We'll keep the submission process open until March 28th. And that will be enough time for us to include in your staff report for the April meeting, all of the artists that applied for being included in the gallery. And then at the April meeting, you will select the pieces for the exhibit. And then we'll hang it in the first week of May. So we do intend to utilize the same format for our call to artists, which was just Microsoft Forms. It worked pretty good. And we'll get the word out broadly like we did last time as well. And I may consider changing the selection process. I felt that the one last time was a little bit crunchy and that maybe we can do it a little better. So I was considering using Mentimeter like we just did now. So we can discuss that afterwards. I'd love to get your feedback on that. So 13 ideas came through. The first one, One World, Many Journeys, which is a global focus. And the short version, I hate to not say all of these words because they're all so good, but
It's okay, Lisa.
It's okay, Lisa.
Thank you. A visual celebration of global connection, international travel, and the shared experiences that unite us. Another idea is Roots and Routes, the many threads of Nevada City. Nevada City is more than just a place. It's a tapestry woven from stories, histories, journeys of those who call it home. Artists, poets, photographers celebrate the diverse origins of our community members. It could also explore migration, cultural traditions, personal journeys, shared experiences, et cetera, et cetera. Community resilience as a theme idea, focused on art that reflects community projects, collaborative efforts, and ways that the community comes together historically, envisions building stronger community. So we could highlight existing community projects, human working towards a common cause, and other collaborative sorts of art that may come through for the exhibit. Another idea is The Past Didn't Go Anywhere, or Bridges, and that would be a focus on art that represents how history informs the present and the future, socially, culturally, ecologically, how the past is a bridge to the present and how it informs the way we live, and how we can create better futures by honoring the truth of the past. Mountains and Rivers Without End, local art, poetry, local writing that features the watershed and the community that lives here. And the specific idea here would be the tapestry for the North San Juan Ridge, which I'm sure most of us have seen. And then also an idea for Hidden in Plain Sight, the details of Nevada City, celebrating architectural and historic details. This idea would focus on the small yet remarkable architectural, historical, and natural details that make Nevada City unique. It could tie to current events, and it could include all sorts of art and mixed media. Faces of Nevada City, I thought this one was kind of clever. Faces of Nevada City, past and present, celebrating the people who shape our town. The focus is on the unique characters of Nevada City, historical figures, modern-day residents, unsung heroes, and local legends who have contributed to the town's identity. I think there's plenty of those folks around. Emergence, a Pride-themed exhibit, open through June. Focus could be on coming out, coming through, and revealing hidden layers. It could tie to current events with the LGBTQ pride and artists reclaiming space post-pandemic. Rites of Spring, which could be focus on the intersection of rebirth, renewal, and civil rights movements, ties to current events, potential Supreme Court rulings, Women History Month, follow-up, and LGBTQ advocacy leading up to Pride. And it could, similar to Emergence, it could have some art inspired by queer joy, historical struggles for rights, art inspired by protest and feminism. And then we have Bloom and Resistance. I'm seeing a trend here. It's going to be spring soon. The focus would be local natural beauty in spring, environmental activism, and resilience in the face of climate change. That could be interpreted broadly, I'm sure. Ties to current events, which would be Earth Day, and it could include botanical-inspired art, eco-art, or works highlighting local ecosystems, indigenous land stewardship, place-based themes, and wildfire safety resistance themes. Number 11, Youth Visions of Tomorrow, youth-based art and local issues. A focus on a showcase of young artists envisioning Nevada City and California's future environmentally, socially, and culturally. Youth activism is at an all-time high on issues like climate change, education, reform, and mental health. And this exhibit gives youth a platform to show art that relates. Voices from the Margins, number 12, Untold Stories. The focus would be art that brings to light overlooked or suppressed narratives from Nevada City and California's past and present. And there's lots of ideas in there for how it could be broadly interpreted. Number 13 is the last one, and that is Poetic Justice, Art in Verse. April, Poetry and Arts, Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month. April is the National Poetry Month and the Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month in California. It makes it a good time to highlight how these art forms inspire social change. It could include visual interpretations of local poets' work, or vice versa. Interactive poetry walls where visitors can contribute lines to a collective piece, or artworks incorporating text or pieces intentionally paired with poetry. So I'm not entirely sure how to talk about all of those or how the discussion should go. So I guess I'll just let you discuss.
Well,
Any ideas?
do
Any
we want to
ideas, Sean?
start with, like, if there were clarifying questions that you guys might have for Lisa? Okay. And any public comment on this topic? The public? Okay, then open to discussion, comments, thoughts, or like how we want to go about. Because tonight we are choosing a theme.
So is it just like whichever one we like the most? Like I pulled out like 5 of the ones that.
Yeah, we have to pick one.
We have to pick one, okay.
No, yeah.
I mean,
I
it
ranked
could.
them in order. Maybe we should just give our first 3 and see if there's a.
Can we hybridize some of them? Because there are a few that I like aspects of and would like to niche
Yeah.
together.
That's what I was going to say. The text that you guys gave me is going to be super useful in doing the call to artists and kind of crafting that language. So definitely if you wanted to, if there was similarities or different parts and pieces and you wanted to just come up with one, that's kind of what we're doing. So yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
And I think it's also important that these could possibly come up for later, right? So we're choosing one now, but we could work with these as future themes.
Yeah, definitely.
Kathy?
I was just going to say, some of them are kind of time-based, for April and what's
Right.
coming up, and maybe even the youth one, because kids will be getting out of school and may not be around, but then some of the other ones are not as tied into it, so we could pick the next 3 themes almost, or whatever.
It's just so hard because it's like, okay, the poetic justice seems like it's amazing for the time, but there's also 8 and 9, which could both work together very well and are also perfect time-wise as well.
Well, perhaps some of them can be saved,
Yeah,
for another
that's what
time.
I'm thinking.
They're so beautiful.
We'll keep them all and,
Yeah.
bring them back to you because you're going to do this 3 times a year.
My first thought was, it's never not a good time to include youth. And any one of these could also, there could be a special call, to include youth. I really love the idea of one world, many journeys, because of what's happening in the world right now. Just to remember that we're in Nevada City, but we're also global citizens, and we have a responsibility to one another, and I think it could build bridges as well.
Not specifically, but I do think in terms of like our objective here, since it's our second call, I think we should be prioritizing like broadly relatable themes that are going to like pull people in. I think we had 57 submissions for the first one, Year of the Neighborhood. It's like anyone could have submitted for anything. And we kind of want to keep that going. Like we're kind of like, we want to max engagement. And similarly, I think the type of content we want should be like as universally enjoyable. And that's why I think maybe steering clear of any medium that's too exclusive, like only poetry or only photography or whatever, maybe like not yet. So that would be my only caveat, is like, how do we keep it like nice and comfy for the most people to play as possible.
Did you want to, would it be easy for you to take down if all of us just went through 3?
2.
2? If all of us just pick 2, and then you see if anything gets the most votes? And would you want us to rank them, or can we just give you 2? And then you do the,
It's probably better if you say it.
with a ranking, you mean? Oh, I mean, yeah,
Like
we go
your top
through
2,
each.
right?
Yeah,
Say, my vote would be for, 8 or 12 or something, right?
right.
Yeah.
But do you want it ranked? Like, my first vote is 8, my second vote is,
Sure, that's a
Okay.
good idea.
so do you want to start?
My first vote would be for 11, and my second vote would be for 12.
Nikaya? Or do you want us to come back to you?
Oh no. Yeah, actually, I'm not ready
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
Shannon?
My first vote is for 11 also, and for context too, Chair of the Board of Supervisors, Heidi Hall, declared 2025 Year of the Youth. And so aligning our work with what
Nice.
is being prioritized at the county level, I think is really wise for engagement.
I also feel like we haven't done enough for the youth
We
as a commission,
haven't. Poor
honestly, like,
Jonas.
we need to get that more in the open, bring more.
Great.
I know I need to do more there as well, though.
You need to show us where the youth are, Jonas.
How do we reach
we only hang out where old people hang out. My second spot is going to, One World, Many Journeys. Ba-boom.
Shall I go?
You shall go.
Okay. First, I have number 11, Youth Visions of Tomorrow. And for second, I have number 7, Faces of Nevada City, Past and Present. Eliza.
I'm the same as Shannon, but the other way round. But I'm also I'm playing devil's advocate. So 1 and then 11.
And Kathy?
I'm torn. Now, they're equal, 1 and 11. 11 and
Oh,
1.
how nice. We're all on the same page.
Oh, I still have to do it.
We
Okay,
want your
I
voice.
I still don't know. I'm gonna do 11 because whatever.
I was going to say, statistically,
I don't have a choice. I'm not gonna do 4, but also, what's the other one? 7, but also maybe tweaking that one a bit. So it's not just random faces, but maybe focusing on artists and musicians as a theme in it.
Cool.
Okay, that's it. Great. Do we need a drum roll while you?
I think we have a clear winner.
Okay.
Number 11,
Great.
the Youth Visions of Tomorrow.
Lovely.
Yay. So is there anything that we should add besides what's written here, or be sure to include for the artists for their interpretation? And
How are we defining youth?
Is it like 18 and below, or is it like gonna be
I think-
21 and younger?
I think, well, I know that, like, I would do transitional age youth too, sort of like up to 24 or something like that.
I think NEO does up to, I believe they allow people up to 24 or 26 to go to NEO. So I would say within that age
Yeah,
range.
I think that's nice and inclusive. What do you think, Jonas?
That sound, personally, 24 sounds amazing because it could just be a range from anything to 24.
Anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, once you hit quarter of the century, you're not
You're
young
right.
anymore.
Forget it.
Forget it.
And
It's all downhill
I
from
think
there.
that in the call, I think it's great to like suggest and like elevate the idea of youth activism and climate change and school programs and stuff, but like make it as like non-binding as possible, because we also just want to see people showcasing like
They're
what they're good
Their
at, like
art,
what do you
yeah.
like?
And it can be broad, right? It could be poetry, it could be visual, it could be photography, it could be anything. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you need anything else from us for that?
I think that's good. If anybody has any suggestions for the selection process to make it better at our next meeting.
I would love if it wasn't public, if we weren't doing,
like if we did
The
it
voting.
beforehand,
Mhm.
and then we
And
came
then
up
just
it
show
was
the
already all
results.
tallied for, like, or
that you can't do. You have to vote at the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can
because
do the
you guys could be
process.
sitting there having coffee and be
yes,
talking about
that
it.
would be nicer
So,
than saying, that felt really uncomfortable.
Oh, but we have to.
No, I think what you were saying is that we could do what, similar to what we did
We could do the
tonight
Mentimeter,
for
so
the
you wouldn't see who
workshop.
voted what,
No
but we
talking.
get it.
But you have
yeah.
to be here to see.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can't vote until after public comment. So
Okay.
that's because in theory, somebody might sway your vote. So if you voted before the meeting, then that would be.
And maybe there's a way, I mean, if we get 60 submissions, that's not possible, but maybe there's even like a Mentimeter format where you could just like have everything and you can just like rank your top 3 or something, so we don't need to go through
Yeah, we could do just
everyone
what you
and
did
just-
now on Mentimeter, a forced reduction. It brings it into from 60
Yeah.
to 6, and then you would take from the 6 and pick one.
Something like that.
Yeah.
so one thing that I'm seeing is that engaging the youth is going to be a completely different group of folks than we did last time. So I suppose we'll have to come up with some contacts at the schools and NEO. Any other suggestions?
So we have the youth commission who has a liaison to this body that we obviously can share it with. We have contacts with all the major schools around us. So Salesforce, Charter, Nevada Union, Godoti, certainly could expand that if you wanted to the adjoining close county areas, Auburn.
Or the K through 8, like
Yeah,
Nevada City School of the Arts and,
Which is not in Nevada City.
no, but do you have to be from Nevada City? Oh, you're just commenting on the name.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. You would, that's what I'm saying, the ones we have already. So if beyond that, yeah,
Do we want
you'd
more
want,
limited?
where do you want the boundary to be?
Like, do we just want it to be only Nevada?
Eliza, do you know who coordinates the like kids exhibit that's up at the Rood Center right now? Is that you guys?
It's Nancy Jackson. Funnily enough, I met with her this afternoon. She's the Visual and Performing Arts liaison at Nevada County Superintendent of Schools. And then I think she works with the executive office, Jenny Comperda.
Cool. Yeah, there's like at the Rood Center right now, there's just like hundreds of kids art, and it's so cool and just really
Beautiful.
awesome. And I don't know how they get it all together, but that might be a great contact too, since she's obviously linked up with whoever's.
Yes, and if, for
making kids do
example,
art.
so we have 6 teaching artists across 4 schools at the moment, I could connect with them as well and put the word out.
Kathy?
We ought to also include Bright Futures for Youth, and
Nice.
The library as well.
Thanks.
I think we need to be a little bit careful as we put it out that we don't, if the whole first grade class of such and such school puts
Yeah.
something in,
I
they're
know,
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
crushed.
huge.
You can't pick one and not all 30 or, and we only have
Yeah,
so
we're
much
gonna-
space.
it's
So
gonna
I
be
think we need to be at least a little aware of what kind of art, what level of, I don't wanna, I'm not dishing any
Difficult.
From a
school
practical
age, but
standpoint,
from a practical
the
standpoint,
form
we
to
only have
submit is 5th grade level.
Yeah.
So, because they'd have to say, I'm submitting this is how my art will represent the theme, that kind of thing. So
So we're gonna get.
so it doesn't mean a 2nd grader couldn't, but it's unlikely you're gonna get an
parents
entire 1st grade
filling
class
it out.
to submit, at that level. So government work is generally 5th grade.
So that does bring up though something that we just want to be mindful of the fact that there could be potentially 100 submissions and we can accept 15 and this is children that we're talking about. Well, they could be 24. But I just want us to be sure we understand that, and if anybody, I have never experienced doing a call for artists of children, so I don't know what it's like to have children, but it is.
It just goes through teachers
and
usually.
to be
Yeah,
clear,
usually
you're
the
doing a
teachers
call for
usually
artists
don't.
for youth, not for children.
Well, right. Well,
But children will apply.
Children could be included in youth, but a 24-year-old is not a child.
Right.
So you're not seeking, what you've said is,
Right.
you're not seeking
Correct.
children's art, you're seeking youth art.
Yes.
So which could, in theory, be a child, but what you've chosen as a theme skews heavily towards, a teenager
Teenager.
and older.
And
Maybe
they
we
should
can
know
see
what
what
life
we
is
could
like. Rejection as part of life. That's all. I don't know.
Just go for it.
Okay, we'll figure.
Try to
It would be a great problem to have,
It's what
and if we
any
got to
artist
that
has
point,
learn is rejection, so.
we could ultimately
To learn.
take all of the submissions and post them online and say, here's everyone that submitted, and we had way too many submissions and not enough space, here's the people that we selected.
Is that a possibility?
Of course.
Okay. Are there any other comments or from commissioners? And then Lisa, did you need anything else from us? Or can we wrap
That's
that one
good.
up?
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
do we need to we've done the decision making. We don't need to.
How about a motion and a second?
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve this
Approve the
specific?
environmental.
I motion that we make the theme for our next Champ Gallery, Youth Visions of Tomorrow.
I second that motion.
And do I say all those in favor?
Should be a roll call vote since
Oh,
it's a
okay.
business item.
All right, we get a roll call.
Yes, Commissioner Arianes.
Aye.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Aye.
Commissioner Tudor. Commissioner Wilcox Barnes.
Aye.
Vice Chair Harney.
Aye.
And Chair Negrete.
Aye.
All passed.
All right.
That wasn't hard.
So we're going to move on to item 4, consideration of a proposed collaboration with Nevada City Rotary and the Nevada City Chamber of Commerce for the Pumpkins for Polio and Projects Initiative, presented by Sean Grayson and Kathy Wilcox Barnes.
I'm going to recuse myself from the table and switch roles from a Public Arts Commissioner to the Nevada City Rotarian.
Cute.
If it's okay with you, Kathy, I'll kind of recap how we got here and then you can chime in wherever you want. So the Nevada City Rotary, for the last 2 years has been doing pumpkins for polio. So started in 2023, expanded in 2024. Kathy can explain how certain type of bug may have gotten in the way of their first year. And they painted those pumpkins and then auctioned them off. The way this comes to the intersection of the Public Arts Commission is some of those painted pumpkins were in storefront windows downtown here, and for the same period of time, the last 2 years, the city's been partnering with the Chamber of Commerce and the County of Nevada to do a daytime trick-or-treating event. So you can go up to the Root Center, trick-or-treat at all of the different departments, and then you can take the shuttle for free to downtown and do the same with our downtown businesses, or vice versa. You can go back and forth. It's grown each year and been very successful. And so Kathy and I were meeting, I think, at Communal Cafe about I don't know what, and this topic came up and said this might be a good opportunity to take art that's already being done in our community and expand it along with the chamber. So we met with the Chamber of Commerce last week, and in concept, the opportunity would be for to expand how many pumpkins get painted and ultimately get auctioned off. And we, from the business perspective, the chamber is willing to engage the businesses at the same time they do the hanging baskets for the spring to summer transition. They'll say, hey, and after hanging baskets, do you want to do a pumpkin in your window? And so that's just the next step. And then the city will engage the county to, we'll do some pumpkins here. They do some pumpkins at the Root Center, hopefully at every department and in the front area there, just as part of that collaboration for Halloween. So, and then they would be auctioned off. They've done silent auctions in the past. We'd be open to discussion there because it could be that there's just a QR code everywhere that there's a pumpkin and people can, click the QR code and put in their auction. That way we don't have to move them all to one place to be auctioned off another time, but that's a decision to be made certainly at some point. And then there's also the option to have potentially a group of pumpkins that would be done and auctioned before the Halloween events versus the ones that would be in the storefront windows and that kind of, or at City Hall that someone would take after Halloween. But what it boils down to is how many pumpkins that they're going to plant and help getting people to paint them. How many people did your 50 pumpkins last year? Or was more than 50?
Yeah, we had 8 people, so you want me to...
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you a little background how this project got started. Rotary International, their main project that they do across the world is polio eradication. Started in 1985, and at that time polio was endemic in about 175 countries in the world. And as we started vaccinating kids around the world and built up a really good partnership and health vaccine group that goes out, they've been able to respond to almost all the countries in the world. And we partnered with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. At first they were a one-on-one match, and it was so successful they went 2-on-1. So for every $1 that was given to Rotary International, it was doubled. And with that, we're down to only 2 countries in the world that are endemic with polio, and that is Pakistan and Afghanistan. And those are very difficult countries to get into to vaccinate. But the beauty of the whole organization is that when COVID came along, everything was already in place, so they could switch over also, to meet that crisis at the time. So we always say that we're this close to eradicating polio, but it's one plane ride away from breaking out again. And we know that in Gaza, polio has broken out recently. We also had cases in the United States, in New York last year that broke out. So as people think polio, I've never even heard of it, younger people, but it really is a terrible disease, and third world countries have been really impacted by it. So what happened was I came up with the idea, why don't we plant pumpkins and just sell them for polio? You can start rolling the slides if you want. And our first year, we'll see, I'll tell you about our projects that we do, because I renamed it Pumpkins for Polio and Projects. We give scholarships, and they're both academic and technical, and the academic stands on its own, but the technical, we've given scholarships for people to go to fire, to become fire technicians. We've given our Nevada City Police Department money to go for sensitivity training. We've sent kids to 8th grade leadership camp, and juniors in high school going into their senior year to a camp called RILA, and that's a leadership camp, and it changes lives. We also support a number of community projects, and we have environmental sustainability projects. You've probably seen the plastic collection here at City Hall. We've collected enough 15 tons of plastic in the last couple of years and have gotten 6 Trex benches out of that.
That's amazing.
That we're trying to find a place to put a Trex bench. And we do international service. So that's kind of where the scholarships, the money would, any additional money. So our first project for the pumpkins was launched in 2023, as Sean said, and we grow them at an organic farm in Chicago Park, Backbreaking Acres. It was the first organic farm in Nevada County, and the owner of that started the growers market. So not that people are buying our painted pumpkins because they're organic, but in case you're going to make pies out of them, some that might be. But we got hit by cucumber beetles, and out of all these beautiful pumpkins that you can see, I think I put some pictures in of our first attempt at it, with this beautiful 2 long rows of pumpkins. And out of all that, after getting hit with the cucumber beetles, we ended up with about 40 pumpkins. And our first idea was just sell the pumpkins at Dave's Auto Service on Zion Street. He said, on a Saturday, pull up, have all these pumpkins there that people could buy. We had to pivot really quickly, and we said, well, that's not going to work. So we have one person in our club who is an artist, and she said, I have some friends, and we'll paint them. And so they painted. So a group of 8 of them got together, and sometimes they'd just sit on her patio and sip wine and paint, and other times some of them took them home. So these were examples of our first year, and with that we raised over $1,100. But we also decided to have some fun at it too, and have, can't raise pumpkins and just sell them off. You have to have some fun. So with that, we rolled into 2024, and we were very successful. We raised 150 pumpkins, and 8 artists going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with all these? So what we ended up doing was we gave a number of them to Mount St. Mary's School for them to use them for the project they were doing. And we auctioned off about 50 of them. And there's some pictures. These were, the artists got more creative and really got into it, and they were beautiful. And you think, oh, well, if you're bidding on this pumpkin, what good is it going to do? It's only there for Halloween, but that's not true. The pumpkins, we brought one to the meeting last week, and some people are going to bring some tonight, but the weather changed their mind. They don't do well in the rain. But they're still going, and the pumpkins from 2023 lasted clear into almost when we were auctioning off the 2024. So we have a number of ones that are still, that some of the members of our club bought, and they're still going strong, and some of the people who had them in their windows. So Sean gave you the background on how we got to this point. We were talking, he said this would be a great idea to maybe the city partner with the chamber and with the Rotary Club. And so what we're here before the commission tonight asking is this something that it would be public art. It's out in the merchants' windows for everybody to see. We don't have enough artists to handle enough pumpkins for all the merchants that decide they want them, or to do the silent auction. Any money raised over what the goal is for Polio Plus, which is usually been $1,500, would go into the scholarship end of it, back into the community.
So in theory, we're asking, do you like the idea? Would you be willing to be involved as the commission? What do you think about a call to artists to help, right? So this would be volunteer work. And then what do you think about potentially hosting an event with the wonderful people that have done this in the past and know how to do it, how to paint it, how to seal it so that it doesn't crack or fall off? Maybe we do something at Siemens Lodge or something where we have all the materials and those folks that have done it in the past, and invite those volunteer artists to come out and, paint the pumpkins and do that kind of thing. Of course, people could do it at their home if they wanted to also, but so just pitching that to you, see what you think and what kind of input you might have for us collectively. And I like your shirt, Kathy.
Thank you. And we will grow as many pumpkins as we think necessary. Fingers crossed that we get another good year. And we're already preparing the ground and everything for it.
Great. Do we have any questions first from any commissioners? Do we have any public comment from anyone in the public?
I like pumpkins. I don't like polio.
Duly noted. Hey, and then do we have a discussion in terms of what folks on the commission think about the involvement of the Public Arts Commission?
Yeah, what would our role be in this?
That was that clarifying question
It was
earlier.
it is to see if we want to help find artists.
Yeah, essentially the called artists
Basically to find
come from the
volunteers,
Arts
right?
Commission instead of,
it being from you guys, so it'd be a little easier for you guys to find artists that way.
yeah, I would think, or I would hope that, people.
And then like our engagement participation, if we were gonna do like a couple community workshops where everyone comes together and we do a big pumpkin painting extravaganza.
You might
that
be
we
the
would
co-host.
That we would be co-hosting that.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it doesn't have to be. It could also be artists that we know that would want to take some home and paint them and bring. Are there any qualifications for these pumpkin artists, or is it just any artist who says I want to do it? I'm like, not, yeah.
The people who started painting them, some people, didn't have a real arts background and really got into it. And the first year, you can see, we're a little bit, cruder than the second year, but I don't think there would be. The only thing would be they'd have to sign their name and bring it back. I mean,
Or pay for it.
not go, oh, well, that was a mistake.
This part that says a committee needed, is that referring to a committee needed from us Or is that a Rotary? It's on one of
That's
the,
the Rotary, and we've already kind of talked with the chamber, so somebody from Rotary, somebody from the chamber, and
Be
the
on that
city
committee.
would be working together.
Okay.
And then if you wanted to have someone from the commission liaison to it also. And part of that is the final event, getting them into the windows, but then there's also if there was the QR code and the online, that kind of thing.
And it's still kind of up in the air if the culmination would be like, oh, it's people just walking around doing it like this, or if it's all loading into the Miners Foundry and we're doing it.
Right, or it could be both, right? It could be,
both.
you
How
saw it
many
in the window, you
pumpkins will
scanned the
be
QR
dropped?
code and you said, I'll pay $20 for that. Or we load them all, like you said, at the Foundry, and then somebody else can, at Live says, $1 more than that.
if there was some kind, where was the auction last time held?
Well, last time it was held at Round Table Pizza. This time we would probably try to do it at Bodie Hive or
Okay.
at Miners Foundry.
So would it be
Miners Foundry
free?
wasn't an option until
Right.
just recently.
So that might be a free thing.
Right, it's free.
So that
the
we-
public come in and.
No, sorry, the Rotary wouldn't have to pay for the venue and take
Well,
some of the
we would-
funds out, or that would involve taking
we
some
would
funds towards
Try to
that.
find a place where we're not paying for the
Okay.
venue.
Great. Are there any other,
It's so important to have cool, innovative ways to be able to talk about vaccines in a divisive way. So I really applaud you guys just sticking with the program and also sharing this information as part of the project. I'm hugely in favor, and I'm happy to help however to coordinate.
As you know, I've said it many times, I'm not an artist. They don't give me pumpkins to paint. I'm one of the growers out there. And we can always, if somebody just wants to help grow pumpkins, we can use people out there too, but.
I bet you make a mean pumpkin pie though, don't you?
or cookie?
Pumpkin cookie.
but
Jonah,
pumpkin butter.
Did you have a question? Oh, okay. Did you need a motion from us? Or,
I think that's, enough. This direction we'll bring it back to probably in August with,
Great.
the solicitation for volunteers to help paint pumpkins and the scheduling of those painting events, and whether it be at Bodie Hive or the Foundry or whatever for the auction, we'll try to get that all back to you to support that.
They usually start painting them sometime in September, kind of leading up to it. Takes quite a while.
And in theory too, like public art is called, that's one mechanism, but also let's say there's like 200 pumpkins and between the 7 of us, we can get like 10 people who want to paint them.
Yeah, I'm not thinking put it on the Arts Council webpage as a call to artists. I'm thinking more of a
Call.
community engagement, calling on people to help us
Call.
however we,
You know the artist.
yeah, however we best get that.
Okay.
Pumpkins were
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the idea of a QR code and being able to have something, because we don't have windows, for example, at the theater, and we have some super talented artists who I could imagine may want to do this, and we would, in our case, it would be something we'd have to put in the theater as a way for people to see it, and on our social media, and the QR code would be how they
That'd be
could
awesome.
potentially
We would
bid on it.
try to find a way, to identify the pumpkin artist. And
Yeah. Okay, if there's nothing else,
Exciting.
then thank
Great.
you,
Thank you very
Kathy.
much.
Thanks, Kathy.
We are moving on to our final, number 5, consideration of approval of the process for the inaugural Painted Pianos program, including city participation in the 2025 First Friday Art Walks. This is presented by Sean and Lisa.
So, short version, I love this concept. I think I'm the one that brought it to you. But there's a lot of unknowns, right? And so, because we've never done it before.
Right.
So what I'm gonna ask you tonight to do is to consider doing kind of like a pilot. Let's figure out how it's gonna work and then make it better next year and better the year after that. So we have in the hallway there one working piano and one, well, it technically works, but it wouldn't be good to be played on. We definitely have access to one additional playing piano, and then we think we might have access to some other ones, but every time we cross this bridge, somebody's like, oh, I got a piano, and they tell Lisa, and she's like, great, and they're like, oh, it doesn't play that well, and you know, we contact everybody on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and there's always something to it, right? Which is okay. We don't know for sure where we would put it. Definitely, you know, in front of the Chamber of Commerce would work. We believe in front of the pizza joint would work as well. There's many other places in town that eventually could work. But what we do know is we have an artist, and I forgot her name again.
Stephanie Boltrick.
Stephanie Boltrick, who we met with, who would be interested in doing the interactive piece at each of the Art Walk days. So essentially we bring a piano out to in front of City Hall that is both playable and paintable. And she would be painting it and engaging the public that walks by if they want to be part of the painting or the, you know, however it's going to end up working. And so that'd be each of those 3 days of the first Friday Art Walk, except for July, because the first Friday is 4th of July, so it's moved to the second Friday, but we just don't say that. That would be that piece on a piano, and the other piece would be to do a call to artists or something, some kind of solicitation to paint the other piano, and that one to be placed on the first Friday Art Walk out in the public, wherever we're gonna have it. Well tuned, ready to play. I guess maybe the guy from Truckee tonight comes down and you know, tickles the ivories, but however that might work.
Tickles the ivories.
And then we see how all that works. We see how moving the piano, retuning the piano, covering the piano every night, you know, that kind of thing works out. And then we can continue to acquire pianos and do more, you know, painting opportunities. So we, so basically we'd be going with one artist that we've already talked to or engaging them to do that interactive piece, going out to basically an open call for somebody to do take the piano, us bring you the piano in May and have the opportunity to paint it, and then we'll pick it back up by middle of June to get it out for the first Friday Art Walk. And if there's a theme, if there's not a theme, you know, artist qualifications, where they come from, all those things totally up to you. But just want to get your feedback on that so we could get the ball rolling, so to speak.
Okay, so if there are clarifying questions, did you have a clarifying? Oh, yeah, Jonas.
So, the art walks, is it like once a month for like 3 months? It's the first Friday?
Yeah.
What are we doing with the pianos during that? Because it's kind of a pain to move pianos a lot. So like, would they be like, if there was one in front of the city hall, would it just be stored in here somewhere?
Yeah, so that,
and then like brought back out?
that one will be painted live on those days, and it'll just be wheeled and put in that back room there.
Okay.
The other one will go out around the first Friday Art Walk, wherever it's gonna go, Pizza Joint, Chamber of Commerce, and this stays out until after the fair. And then we'll take it off the street, put it in storage, and then next year somebody will paint it anew.
Okay.
Any other clarifying questions?
I'm not a pianist. How do they stay in tune and weather? I mean, is the idea that you're going to tune this and it's actually going to stay in tune and keep sounding good?
Yeah, I've talked to a number of places that, you know, have these kind of programs, and there's strangely, including the picture that we put when we pitched this originally to you, is in Colorado. And they have them out year round, snow and all that kind of stuff. And so they said definitely moving it is much more impactful on the tuning than weather, although weather impacts it. But they said it's, you know, it's not going to be a perfectly tuned piano, and that's okay because there's street noise and these other kind of things. They said if you want it to be a perfectly tuned one, then you put out, you know, keyboard synthesizers for people to play on the street, but that's not what we're doing. But it will be part of what we have to kind of figure out, you know, because if the tuning costs more than the pianos or more than paying the artist, that it's probably not.
How much is it to tune a piano these days?
Generally $100
or more.
I think
Yeah.
more, surely.
Yeah, that would be
Cheapest I
if
could
it's kind of
find
like
was 100.
already in
Yeah.
good shape
Oh,
and
really?
tuned and.
That's the cheapest I could
Yeah.
find.
Yeah.
I do have a question. The Stephanie Boltrick who has offered to paint one piano, since that's not part of the call for artists, is she paying for her own supplies, or is this something where she would get payment to do this?
Yeah, we would do the same thing as we would with anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a local artist, multimedia artist, and she kind of stood out to us because she does interactive, like, teachings, like she hosts paint and sips at the Gold Vibe Kombuchery. So she has experience, like,
Interactive.
showing people like how to make something better or giving them ideas. And she came here and met with us and had some good ideas for like how to structure it and how to sort of do some footwork ahead of time to be ready for people to like engage with it. And then she kind of we talked about the potential for donated paint. I don't know if any of you guys have ideas for that. And we also were sort of talking about whether it would be like regular latex paint, like outdoor house paint. So if anybody has any thoughts on
For
paint.
the donated paint thing, an easy way to get that is by either talking to Ace or Tractor Supply, because I do know that both of them have donated to public art projects in the past before.
If there are not any more questions, I'll open this up to public comment.
He likes pianos and he likes painting.
Okay, and music. All right.
As Peter Parker once said.
Okay, we're now closing public comment.
I don't understand why.
Any discussion amongst you? Anything? Yeah, Kathy.
I was wondering, is it possible we could do one piano down by the chamber that would be done kind of like Miriam did the tiles for the planters on Argyle Way, where people at the farmer's market would maybe, it would be a community painted piano? Or is that too many artists in the kitchen or something, or,
I mean, nothing's impossible. The challenge of that would be, we don't have staff here on Saturday that could moderate that. We'd have to bring the piano to each Saturday's farmer's market. I think just logistically it'd be impractical
It couldn't be down
If it just stayed
by
there, you mean?
I was
someone-
thinking, have it stay down by the chamber there, where it would just be worked on every Saturday for, maybe it'd be done the first Saturday, I don't know. I'm just throwing that idea out that, it's a
Yeah,
community painted piano.
I think if that was the desire of the commission, we could certainly talk to the co-managers of the farmer's market and to the chamber and see if they might be interested in. We certainly would have to have, a group that would be the sponsor of that, to, engage in it and have the materials. and do
Oversee
the-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Make sure it was appropriate.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, we could, if that's what you'd be interested in, that'd be a paid one. It'd just be an opportunity to have people do, kind of user art.
So there's a total of 3?
2 pianos?
The one that Stephanie would be doing, and then 2 more for the Friday art walks, or 1?
One more
One
for,
more. Okay, so if we-
one usable piano, and to be out and about, and 1 to be usable piano to be here. We have this other one that is here right now that could be painted. It would not be you could open it up and tap the keys, but it wouldn't be something that we would put out for people to play. But that doesn't mean it might not be available to be what Kathy's talking about, you can hit the keys while you're putting the mosaics on it or something like that.
Right. So if you want this potential call to artists by March 7th in a few days, what is it that you need from us to
So if we did
make
that,
happen?
what we'd more likely do is, so Lisa will get the call to artists out for the Champ Gallery Friday, although now that's gonna be a little bit more challenging because it won't be through our conventional means, but then we're thinking to push out the Painted Pianos one another couple of weeks. And in a perfect world, get 2 or 3 of you that might be a committee that would work with us on what that call to artists might look like, and, you know, where to post it and how to, you know, do those things. Obviously, we can reach out to, you know, like we did for the Champ Gallery, to all the artists that are in the back of Muse, or in the Center for the Arts newsletter that has, you know, free listings for artists that, you know, are either painters or musicians or both, to engage that group. But then, ideally, we would do that call to artists. It would bridge past your next meeting in April then, and then that same committee would work with us to select an artist for the one Painted Pianos, and then we can announce it at your May meeting. But we would have already engaged the artist and figured out how are we getting you the piano, where's it going, when are you painting it, how can we pick it up and bring it back, that kind of thing.
Okay. So a committee of 3, you were saying? Or 2?
3 would be the maximum, but
2 is fine, too.
Yeah, absolutely, whatever.
Do we
people are willing
have
to-
anybody who is interested in,
I'd 100% be down for the youth little side commission thing, if that's what, if I understand correctly, if that's what you're saying.
no, this is a committee that would be working specifically about the Painted Pianos project, to help with the call for submissions and
I'm up
the,
for that.
Micaiah?
Awesome.
Can I ask a question though before? Is Stephanie decided on, and has anyone seen her art, or is that a Nate that's already done? You already-
Yeah, she describes it as like usually acrylic, landscape, colorful Van Gogh style. So she has a lot of bright colors, flowers, botanical stuff, mountains, sunsets.
And that's decided, so we don't need to worry about that one.
It's not decided.
Okay.
It is an easy button for us because it's somebody that we've already talked to and engaged, and we do recognize that it's
And one of her like strengths is that she like is
Interacts.
facilitating an interactive like kids
Yeah.
like doing it thing.
and so I
Yeah,
think
and she was like willing to come up with the format of how to do that and how to plan it out.
Okay.
but certainly in future years, we would say, you know, last year we did this and we liked this piece and we didn't like this piece, and then we can do a call to artists and say, who wants to do this interactive piece with us on pianos? And if there's other people that are out there, it's like, watch this YouTube video of what we did last year, you know, and if you're that kind of artist, engage us. So, yeah, it wasn't for any other reason than that.
If you want to pull it up on the browser, you can. It's, her Instagram handle is sips, SIPS, .art_NC.
Do we have a second commissioner who would like to join Micaiah? Okay, Jonas?
Okay.
Does that feel, I feel like that might be enough?
Great.
If anybody else?
And then if,
So you guys will choose the artist then?
And you'll connect with them to?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Jonas was volunteering to be a
By himself.
liaison to Lisa on the youth
Champ
engagement
scale,
piece.
Oh, I thought you
Thank
meant
you.
moving the pianos.
So unless there's opposition,
No.
that sounds good.
That's great. And anything else you need us to put into writing around the painted
Theme?
pianos?
So do you have a preference on theme or style for the piece that goes out to Robinson Plaza or Commercial Street? Or keep it open to the artist's interpretation?
That's so specific.
piano is
It's
already
such a
the
unique
theme.
shape of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay?
We're gonna run out
We
of
might have a
themes
hard
if we
time
give
theming
everything a theme.
Pick from one of the 13 themes that were on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're good for that
Yeah,
item.
Yes.
That's great. So,
Thank you.
If there are any reports from commissioners or anything you'd like to share, now's the time. Also wanted to mention this is a great opportunity if there's something that you'd like to see on future agendas in terms of a presentation topic. Lisa can keep track of that so that we have other ideas coming up. So if there's anybody that would like to make a, Liza?
Say that one more time.
Oh, you want me to, you didn't have to. It was just if this is the opportunity before we close, if you have anything to announce or if you have suggestions for future agenda items, presentations you'd like to see.
That's sweet. Well, just a reminder to everybody that April is California Arts, Culture and Creativity Month, and thus it is in Nevada County as well. Suddenly I could hear my voice resonating around City Hall.
Yeah.
That's so strange. Anyway, so it might be nice we'll have a proclamation, won't we, Sean, at City Council about that coming up soon. Yes, Eliza.
Yes, Eliza.
No, it's okay. I've
Reading
been
something
sprung.
from Lon about this meeting. Can you say that again?
We'll probably do a City Council proclamation reminding the world that April is Arts, Culture and Creativity Month, which is very sweet.
We're not doing it.
No!
April 9th
Great.
at the council.
April 9th. So that's really sweet. It's a moment for the Commission to show up and remind the council members that you are a commissioner and that you're here in support of the city. And then just to say, tomorrow evening at the Miners Foundry, we have cancelled this month's creators meetup because we wanted to support the city's efforts with the Miners Foundry, and so we're bringing everyone over there. So Nevada County Arts Council, including myself, will be there with bells on tomorrow night, and we do hope that you'll all show up. It's an incredibly important community space, but also so representative of Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District. So be there or be square.
5 to 7 at the Foundry, drinks, non-alcoholic, and snacks provided.
So boring.
There'll be an opportunity to see the whole facility. Even if you've been there a million times, there's probably some things you haven't seen. Some music, the council will be there, the board of the Foundry will be there, folks from the Arts Council Creative Meetup postponed their meeting and will be there. Miriam Morris's group, who has a meeting conflict, will be there. So we'd love to see anybody that has any interest in the Foundry and what it can be for this community, what it has been continuing and what it could be, in the future under the city's control. We'd love to hear input. 5 to 7. 5 p.m. Yep.
Yes, Shannon.
Cool. I would like to reflect back some stuff we heard earlier. One was Eliza just mentioning kind of like survey verbiage, and I think language is really important. So how can we have some kind of like proofing mechanism that happens for things that we're putting out? I don't know if there's like a committee we want that's reviewing stuff, but I think your point is well taken, that like not everyone in the public is going to know what hardscape, whatever you said, I don't even know what it was. That's how little people will know. Something to consider if we have some kind of like reviewing micro committee that is proofing stuff that's going out on our behalf. Daniela mentioned there's an updated Nissan land acknowledgement. I don't know if that's something we want to bring into this meeting in the future.
That's their land acknowledgement. The one that's here that we read is from before my time, but this was specifically created for the city council's use and approved by the Nissan. But that's different than the land acknowledgement that they would use, for example, at their meetings, or that others might use. The Arts Council has a different one, so this is.
So she was like talking about if we were gonna
put it
In a public
permanent
place.
place. We
Right.
want
Right.
their
She's saying
thing,
their-
We
not
want
what
the
we're
right
reading.
one that represents
Great.
what they want it to be, I think would be the biggest part, which we would
Thank you.
have to do anyway. But yeah, I think that's, I don't want to speak for
That makes
Danielle, but it's like,
sense.
yeah, let's put the right one there, not just the one that we read at
That
council
makes
meetings.
sense. I'm curious about the capacity for the Public Arts Commission to have some voice on the city's social media, to share projects we're working on, to highlight maybe artists who are at the Champ Gallery, just some kind of like, building like the literacy of the community to know what we're doing and who we are. So perhaps at a future meeting, we could talk about if there are people who are interested in kind of championing that and developing content for that. I think, we could propose maybe like first Tuesday of the month, like the Public Arts Commission has a post on the city thing. Just something we could consider.
Sweet.
I'm also interested in doing some kind of, I don't know if it's a collaboration or like exploratory conversations with the Truckee Public Arts Commission. What are they doing? What are they doing over there? What do they like to do? Is there an opportunity for like alignment there? Could we learn something from them? They've been doing it longer. I don't know, is it a field trip? And then also just knowing that we are a Public Arts Commission for Nevada City. The Cultural District is a Grass Valley, Nevada City, sister city thing. Do we want to talk to Grass Valley about how sad it is that they don't have a Public Arts Commission and maybe they need our help because they don't have one? I don't know, just like what kind of like olive branchy dovey moments are there to be like, we're here and we want there to be like shared messaging and we want to support the cultural district as a whole. And
I love that. I absolutely love that. Maybe we could use Culture Forward, the development of the 5-year Arts and Culture Action Plan, as a way to bring both cities together. And what would that look like?
yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
Okay,
thoughts? Those are my thoughts.
thank you. Anybody else?
I'm gonna first apologize to Sean because I have a conflict tomorrow and I can't go to Miners Foundry. And I'm going to be out of town on for a week.
Okay.
April 9th, doing medical clinics in Mexico. So,
Oh, wow.
I apologize for that too. So
Sorry.
there you go.
Kathy, for you and everyone watching at home, there'll be a survey. It's probably live now, but it'll be available definitely tomorrow, and it'll be up on our website and that kind of thing related to the foundry and its uses. And this is the first of a number of engagement opportunities for the public. So fill out the survey or come to the next meeting.
Okay.
I would just like to add some ideas that I would, in terms of potential presentations for the future. I was thinking how I would love to hear from some of the local business / groups that are offering art and craft classes, like the Curious Forge, As If, Wolfcraft Collective, I believe is their name. There's also going to be, I don't know if it would be appropriate, but the new store on Broad that Heather Heckler is opening. I think it'd be wonderful to connect with them and hear from them. Also, I think, having that communication so that they can get our information out when we have call for artists within their community that may not necessarily be part of other local arts communities, because, sometimes it's just a sort of side hobby, but they would love to maybe submit and have something show in the Champ Gallery. So those are the folks I'm kind of curious to hear from. And on that note, I actually won't be able to make it tomorrow night either because I'm taking a crochet class at the Wolfcraft Collective up at the Tin House or at the Tin Gallery. But I look forward to the future meetings for that.
Great.
So if we don't have anything else, then I'm looking for a motion and a second for us to adjourn.
make a motion for us to adjourn.
Okay, a second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Schwartz, second from Commissioner Arianos, and all in favor say aye. Aye. All right, we are adjourned at 8:20.